Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to discuss one of Fender's most unique offset offerings of the 1960s,
The Fender Electric XII.
Purpose-built for 12-string use, the Fender Electric XII was one of the last projects helmed by Leo Fender prior to the CBS buyout of the company in January of 1965. Features of the Electric XII include 12 individual saddles for optimal intonation, an elongated headstock called the hockey stick to accommodate the 12 tuning machines, and a pair of split-coil pickups. The 12 had a surprisingly short production run, riding the wave of the British invasion and the 60s folk boom, originally introduced in 1965 and discontinued by 1970. Unlike other Fender offset models that enjoyed longer production runs, for example the Jazzmaster, which persisted in the catalog until 1980, and the Jaguar, which lasted until 1975, yet Fender, under CBS's ownership, was decisive in nixing the Fender Electric XII at the end of the 60s, making way for the "there I fixed it" Band-Aid of the Maverick model. So where have we heard Fender's Electric XII? Well, Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven is arguably the most prominent place where this guitar is featured, and it was also used on the drones on When the Levee Breaks. Beach Boy Carl Wilson's White Electric XII saw prominent touring use in the 60s, and Tom Petty was also known to use a white Fender XII later in his career, supplementing his favorite Rickenbackers. Gene Clark of the Byrds famously used a prototype Fender Electric XII in Fireman's Gold for the May 1965 performance of Mr. Tambourine Man on Hullabaloo. And Bob Dylan can also be seen in the promotional stills for Highway 61 cradling his Electric XII, although the guitar purportedly didn't end up on any tracks until Blonde on Blonde. Pete Townsend was another early adoptee of the Fender Electric XII, using it on the Who's Tommy album for both the Sparks and Underture tracks. Players also found ways to use the 12-string platform with fewer strings, like Sonic Youth's Lee Ronaldo, who played his as a 10-string, leaving off the octave strings on the E and the A. Johnny Winter simply played his 12 as a 6-string, giving one of the instrument's most prominent performances during his Woodstock set. There's been some confusion over the years relating to Fender's marketing of the switching functions of their split-coil pickup design. In fact, the original catalog description, circa 1966 for the Fender Electric XII, noted the fourth position on the rotary switch as the deep tone effect.
The switch positions are as follows: neck, both pickups in parallel, bridge, and both pickups out of phase. I never really thought I would own a 12-string. So many 12 strings are bulky and long, and tuning them, I think we can all admit, can sometimes be a nightmare. And as much as I love Tom Petty, it really just isn't a sound that I go for. You know me, I'm into big fuzzy chords, I'm into freak out feedback, all of that good stuff, which I later discovered that you can definitely do with a 12. It just took me a while to get there. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Don't hold me back, Mike.
Don't hold back!
The Fender Electric XII is hands down my favorite 12-string design ever. I love the goofy headstock. I love the offset body shape, which is super comfortable for me. And most of all, I love these pickups. Almost immediately, it became one of my go-to instruments. It really did surprise me how I gravitated toward this for so many recording projects. I found myself using it as a paintbrush instead of the jangly lead tone that you usually associate with the 12-string. Now, believe it or not, I get a lot of questions about these pickups specifically. People always want to know, what are those pickups? Where can I get them? What do they sound like? And to answer those questions, I turn to my good friend and pickup winding master, Curtis Novak.
What is going on with the Electric 12 pickup, and why is it different from, say, like a Strat single coil?
The Electric 12 pickup, it was early on, it was of an interest to me because it was not like anything I had seen before of Fender. The first thing that was real striking is it has really long magnets compared to like a Strat or a Telly, and quite a bit of it sticks out the bottom. What was interesting is they come as a pair. I was sure when I first got them, I had some that weren't a match set because they're not reverse wound. That just seemed really odd to me. So that's the way they originally were made. I never really understood that.
So are you saying that they're not hum canceling?
They're not hum canceling in a single position, and they're not hum canceling neck to bridge. They were all wound, all the same wind direction, all the same polarity. I don't know if it was something that they, if this came at the latter end of Leo being there, if they picked up and didn't see where he was going. He had done side-by-side split coil pickups in the P-Bass since the 50s. So, and then when Leo went over to G&L, I mean, they basically did the same pickup similar over there.
G&L has the Z coil.
Yeah, the Z coil, and those are hum canceled. I think it was an oversight on Fender, on CBS.
That's very interesting that you bring up everything that he'd done before, because yeah, I'm cataloging the Strat, the Telly, the P-Bass, the Jazz Bass, the Jazzmaster, the Jaguar, the Mustang. Yeah, everything has a hum canceling middle, or when two pickups are combined.
I can't come up with a single reason why they wouldn't have put it on a Jaguar Strat bobbin and just have them single in line, and then they could share the Jaguar cover. When they made this, they had to do the tooling for the bobbins isn't hard, but they had to come up with mold toolings for the cover. And to go to that, to offset them the way you do a P-Bass, and all the tooling, the special routing, and all the other stuff, it would be as strange as if you had a Gibson humbucker that was two coils, but they went out of their way to make sure that it was single coil.
So let me ask you this. In your experience for a usual Electric 12 pickup, how hot are they?
You know me, I don't like to, it's a challenge. I try not to talk output because pickups are sensors and they're input devices, and and historically everyone talks of output. So you know, in talking to me, don't say output.
Oh, I know.
So you're struggling to say wound, and it's a challenge, and because it's wrong to think of them in that, but they are wound hotter. It's probably maybe 20-30% higher than a Strat, maybe even a Telly. Okay. I'm thinking they're like a 10 or 11K. I'm just speaking off the top of my head.
I've never measured one. I've never thought to.
Okay, watch. Here we go.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it on camera. So just for the people watching, we are measuring our 12 pickups to see what their DC resistance is. And while that is not the most important factor when you're considering pickups, however, it can give us sort of a baseline of what we're working with.
Yeah, baseline is the answer. Yeah, this should be about 10 or 11, right?
I'm getting 9.6 in the neck, 10.3 in the bridge.
You lose a little bit with going through the pots and the caps and all that. So, but they're generally wound at about 10.5 to 11K, around that range.
I'm grateful you spent so much time with me this week. It's good to talk to you.
It's great. It's great hearing from you, man. All right.
I use this guitar with copious amounts of fuzz, with judicious pitch shifting, with helicopter tremolo, all kinds of effects go great with the 12 string and go great with these pickups. And I dare say that if you are in the market for a good 12 string of your own, you'd do well to get one of these in your hands.
It's always a pleasure to have an Electric 12 in the shop. It's one of our favorite offset models.
For more information on the Fender Electric 12, as well as everything else that we have available in store, please visit mmguitarbar.com and stay tuned for more videos, especially the next one, where we're going to tell you about the 12's kit-bashed cousin, the Maverick.